So what is the deal with Hollywood's weirdest new couple? Seriously, you've got the ultimate indie film darling on one side and the absolute queen of reality TV on the other. And everyone's first reaction is, no way this is real. But when you start to connect the dots between his crazy fast rise and the machinery of the Kardashian empire, the story gets a whole lot more interesting. So let's do that.
Right, so this is the big question hanging over every single picture, every red carpet glance, every little moment they're caught on camera. Is any of this actually real?
I mean, on paper, they just don't make sense. He's the poster boy for serious art house cinema, known for these deep, complicated roles. She built a massive cosmetics empire off the back of the world's most famous reality show. They're from two totally different celebrity planets, which, let's be honest, is exactly what makes this whole thing so captivating and so suspicious.
To really get what's happening now, we have to rewind. We've got to go back to the beginning and look at how Timothée Chalamet's career was so carefully built.
Okay, so his path to stardom isn't your typical Hollywood story. He grew up between two worlds, an artsy building in Manhattan and a tiny village in France. And get this, his big acting inspiration wasn't some old classic movie star. It was Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight, which he saw when he was just 12. That pushed him to get into the famous LaGuardia Performing Arts High School, where he even had a rap alter ego. Yep, Little Timmy Tim. Every single step just feels so deliberate.
So after a few small parts here and there, 2017 happened, and one movie, Call Me By Your Name, took him from being this promising young actor and just launched him into the stratosphere. He became a global thing overnight.
But here's the thing. While all the critics absolutely adored it, a lot of viewers were kind of like, huh? The story itself, about a 17-year-old and a 24-year-old, was pretty controversial. And for some people, the slow vibe of the movie and its subject matter made them think all that praise, well, maybe it was about more than just the film. Maybe it was about launching a very specific kind of new star.
But hey, it didn't really matter, because the result was undeniable. For that role, Timothée Chalamet became the youngest Best Actor nominee at the Oscars in 80 years. This wasn't just a hit role, this was basically a coronation. He was officially one of the chosen ones.
And well, that kind of overnight success brings us to this really pervasive theory about how Hollywood actually works, and, the price you have to pay to get into the inner circle. There's this theory, and it's called the humiliation ritual. And the idea is pretty wild. To get to that top-tier level of fame, you have to prove you're all in with the industry's agenda. How do you do that? By publicly taking on roles that are seen as controversial or, well, humiliating. Almost like you're burning your old identity to the ground to be reborn as a superstar. And for the people who believe this theory, his next few movies are basically Exhibit A and B. After his big break, you'd think he'd do a superhero movie, right? Nope. He went for these super dark, unconventional characters, a drug addict and beautiful boy, and then, believe it or not, a literal cannibal in bones and all. For some, these weren't just edgy acting choices, they were proof that he was playing the game. And this rabbit hole goes even deeper. The theory isn't just about one actor's career. It's that these roles are part of a much bigger cultural shift that Hollywood is trying to engineer. I mean, just look at the contrast here. On one side, you've got the classic rugged action heroes we all grew up with. On the other, you've got this new wave, Timothy, Tom Holland, K-pop idols. The theory goes that Hollywood is doing this on purpose, pushing a more sensitive, androgynous kind of leading man for a new generation. And it all kind of builds up to his role in Dune. His character, Paul Atreides, is literally called the Mahdi in the story, which is a messianic prophetic term from Islam. Now, that detail comes straight from the author's deep dive into Arabic culture, but to some people watching, it felt incredibly specific, like another calculated piece in a much bigger puzzle. So after building this very specific brand, the indie, art house, new age hero, where on earth does the biggest, most powerful reality TV family on the planet fit into any of this?
Okay, so first, you have to understand the legend of the Kardashian curse. It's this long-running fan theory that says when men enter the Kardashian world, they get changed by it. That their careers and lives just take a nosedive after the relationship is over, as if the sheer force of that family's fame is just too much to survive.
Now, keeping that curse in mind, look at what Kylie's been up to lately. This woman is a business genius, we know that, but after years of these really high-profile, sometimes chaotic relationships with rappers, she started making moves.
She very publicly had her facial fillers dissolved. Her whole look changed from that hip-hop vibe to something more quiet, more old money. And what's the final perfect chess move in this giant rebrand? A very public relationship with the guy who is the literal poster child for serious actor street cred.
Which brings us right back to square one, but with a new twist. Who is actually using who here? Who's getting the better end of this deal?
So is this whole thing for his career? I mean, think about the timing. They pop up as a couple right in the thick of award season and his big movie releases. It's a marketing masterstroke. It keeps his name in every single headline, creating a kind of buzz that no movie trailer could ever buy. He gets to look like he's above it all while getting all the benefits of the tabloid machine. Or is it all for her brand? Let's be real. People are starting to get a little Kardashian fatigue. This relationship gives Kylie a whole new kind of relevance. It plugs her into a completely different world. The film nerds, the high fashion crowd, all the Gen Z fans who worship him. She's not just borrowing his cool factor, she's basically conquering a whole new market. Look, at the end of the day, we'll probably never know what the real motive was. We don't know if it was his plan or if it was her plan. But one thing is absolutely 100% certain. It worked. The nonstop speculation and debate has made them the most talked about couple on the planet. So, we can sit here and analyze all the marketing strategies, all the career moves, all the wild conspiracy theories, but the actual truth, what really goes on between the two of them, that's a total mystery. Which leaves us all with one final and maybe more important question to think about.
When fame is just a business and a romance is basically a brand partnership, does the line between what's real and what's just really good strategy even exist anymore? Something to chew on.